Okay, I hear she has a book. Okay, hold that thought. We'll start with Brittney and go to Bill, and then we'll see what happens.
Star, the cupcakes are super delicious.
Oh, good.
I might just be like a pre-diabetic, but I think they're really, really yummy.
Oh, excellent.
They're so sweet. And on that sweet note, my poem that I brought with me tonight is titled Birth Control. Like phone calls, there are dates I cannot make. Everything comes to look like mud. I am stabbing my pen into mud. Tight plastic pill pops move me inward. Everything comes to look like mud. Salt is sucked from every pore. Tight plastic pills pop. In me moves baby lies and lust. Every pore must suck salt from each cell with wine sips. Lust, lies, and babies. Maroon is the drunkest color. Sip wine with each cell until writhing dies. Maroon is the drunkest color, the color of my lover's tongue. Until writhing dies, I am stabbing my pen into mud, the color of my lover's tongue. Like phone calls, there are dates I cannot make. Thank you.
Well, they tried to kill me again and failed. Yep. This doesn't hurt so much. That hurt a lot. This is entitled, Is It Live or Percocet? I had another one of them surgeries at a hospital I shouldn't mention by name, so you'll just have to imagine. This was very interesting. You know, things were pretty standard. Go in, wear the gown. This time they didn't care whether I put them on backwards or forwards. You know, nobody has me count backwards from 10 to 9 because I suck at that when I'm drugged. And I woke up in the room, and being a red-blooded American male, I grabbed for the remote. And much to my chagrin, it didn't work. There was only 5 channels on there. Stinking TV. And I only have these operations so I can watch TV, so, you know. So I told the nurse who got the administrator, assistant director of something or other, I can't remember really what it was, but he, pretty powerful position. He gets out the secret code, and voila! I've got 150 channels to flip through. It's very nice. I don't usually sleep after surgery. It's because I don't sleep before surgery, so the surgery is a nap. And I'm sitting there watching TV. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and this very interesting tale comes on. American classic. Or is it Greek or Egyptian or Roman? I can't remember. About this woman who left, this Amazon woman who left the island in search of the real meaning of men. At least I think that's what it was about. And since that's a bad thing to do, they sent another Amazon to chase her down and bring her back. Well, they caught the first runaway, and they had this discussion about men, you know, and convinced the second Amazon that men are not all that bad, which is a lie, because we are. And then the second Amazon walks off with a man, and kaboom! Porn bomb! Right there on the hospital TV. Well, I'm like, did I do something wrong? Did I break this thing? And then I started laughing. And the nurses come running in, what's the matter? And I said, there's porn on the TV. And they said, let us see. I said, okay. And they were like, oh no, it's happened again. So apparently they got a new provider of TV channels who didn't filter things quite well. And they have to go get that channel blocked. So I did fall asleep somewhere around 6:30 in the morning, and about 7, here comes the hospital administrator with coffee, Highlander grog. I've had a lot of visits down there. They know my preferences. And he has this paperwork for me to sign. You're not going to sue us. No, I'm not going to sue you. I sign all the paperwork and everything. But you know, I still have this, still wonder about something. Was it porn or Percocet? I actually did write that one down, Star, right after it happened, but I cannot read the damn thing I wrote.
Karen, are you going to read something?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
And I forgot to remind you, David and Nancy, I forgot to remind you to go in the back by your books so that people could buy them and you could sign them. So while we have this last few open mic readers, in fact, if somebody goes back there, maybe just keep an eye on Nancy and David and entice them to go back, because they want to sell their books. Okay, so go back there. Okay, we have, let's do, oh, did Isaac leave? Okay, all right. He had to catch the bus, I think. So next we have Ronald Jensen, and then Evan Waechther, and then we'll go on with the last two after that.
Hi. One up to date on the calendar this year. What will you do when it is here? Will it be a day when you just have fun, or will it be a day when you get things done? Will it be a day when you will just know, or will it be a day when you work on goals? Will it be a day when you start a fight, or will it be a day when you do what's right? One extra day on the calendar this year. What will you do when it is here? Thank you.
Have about 4 I'm going to read, but they're pretty short. A couple from last time I came that I've revised drastically.
All right.
So I'd like to start off with one I've read a few times that I think is finally close to done. About 3.5 years of work on it. Goodness. Again, these are all really centered around depression and mental illness, so if you have any reservations about any type of illness or violence, there are some violent moments in the poem that I'll read second. Please feel free to leave. Alrighty, the first one is titled Freedom. Rain pours as I walk downstairs to my room. Personal hell. A sliver of moonlight shines through the cracked basement window, accenting the patched holes in the walls. Tattered blanket and yellowed pillow on the floor, blood-stained box cutter on the dresser. This is where I'll meet my end. Father in heaven, set me free. Empty words cling to my swollen tongue. My chest tightens at the thought of leaving Mom, Dad, Nick and Logan, my brothers, Clarissa, my sister. But you can't see the battle I fight inside. You've abandoned me. Mom, Dad, look into my lightless eyes. Look at my disfigured heart. Heavenly Father, take my life away. I shiver, drop down to my knees in prayer, and hold my Ruger so quietly. God, will you save me? The title of this next one is called Four, and it's actually about 4 people that I've known that have committed suicide that are near and dear to my heart. 4. Nathaniel, 10. I remember Mrs. Taylor crying when she heard the news. His grandma found him hanging from the top bunk post, face deep purple. I still question why. Samantha, 17. I remember her 2nd grade smile from across the room. I was 16 when she put a 6-shot Ruger against her temple. Her sister found her lying on her basement bedroom floor in a pool of crimson. Preston, 25. I remember him only in stories. He lost his wife, then his sanity. Manic depression, guns. 12-gauge shotgun in his mouth. Josh, 34. I remember him from whispered conversations. Florida, that's where they found him without a face. Murder, his family whispered under quiet breaths. No, the Navy told him. Shot himself. Only his .30-06 knows the truth. 24. Summer brought hot hearts, hot anger. Canyon curves look friendly to the suicidal. 65 around the corner is the quickest way to die. Next one's titled Concession. Last time I read it, it was titled 25, so it's changed quite a bit. So I have a scripture before that relates to the content in Romans 8, 5-7. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. Concession. This is the last time I'll concede my will to darkness. Kneeling in my basement room, lightless hell, I slip into madness. Soon in death I'll find peace, my depression stilled. Am I insane? Will this cool blade thrill the carnal desires inside? Lust consumes me with every stroke as blood blooms into my opus, like red raindrops distill upon a sinless canvas. Arm christened, a word in trickling red appears. Failure. Relapse is the silence I hold within. I wasted all these years with 1,000-yard stare as I fought to shed the flesh of carnal man, but I've fallen to my sin. The last poem is called Last Summer. July afternoon when I drove up Logan Canyon. Let's start that over. It was a hot July afternoon when I drove up Logan Canyon to kill myself. After another screaming match with Sarah, I decided I'm done. All the pain and suffering. I don't remember what we fought about, but I knew I couldn't take care of myself anymore. I wanted the roaring thoughts to stop, keeping me awake at night. I wanted to stop breathing. There's beauty in the bleeding, at least you feel something. So I drove up the canyon, reckless, foot heavy with adrenaline, taking turns too fast, not caring if I flipped my gray focus hatch on the next shot curve. I wish I knew what it was like to care enough to carry on. I couldn't think straight. My mind played on rewind, fast forward, pause. Heart thumping to the dreary bass beat of 3 days grace. Pain without love. Pain can't get enough pain. I couldn't take it anymore. 45 miles per hour. 55 miles per hour. 65 around a curve labeled 40. In my mind, I rolled over a cliff into the murky water at Second Dam, into the mountainside. Part of me wishes I could just feel something, but I pulled over and cried instead. I wanted to die, but I didn't have the will to pull the trigger. Thanks.
Thank you, and that was a good revision of that first one. Okay, we have only 2 more readers, and can we manage it in 7 minutes? Because that's when we have to put our chairs back. So it's Sam, how do you say this last name?
Gaither.
Gaither, Sam Gaither, and Carly Crosby.
This is a poem I wrote called The Moon. It says, I feel like I'm on the verge of something great, the verge of something beautiful, or the verge of the edge of the earth. Like the slightest speck of dirt could break my back, like the smallest simple word could inspire a sonnet. That inside feeling of floating, part black hole and part helium. Too bad my chest weighs more than a balloon. If it didn't, then maybe I could fly, soar above the earth where the pain can't get me, where creation is enlightening. High like the moon, so the whole world can see me. Not as bright as the sun, I want them to be able to look at me. I think I could change the world, like there's something inside of me, like I'm meant for something more. But the weight of what I've seen and the internal war that's raging sinks my soul so low that the weight of the sea is crushing me. Again, leaving me wishing I could be more like the moon. Pulling the waves up wherever I go, bathing the shores in their beauty. How many more like me, I wonder, trying to break away from the feeling, fighting every day against the weight of their own dealings. What if they too could fly, lifting a weight off the shoulders of the world and inspired as they are, fixing the things that need fixing? And what if all they need is just one of us to break the chains? What if that one could be me? I could get the word out that yes, we can be free. Free from guilt, free from depression, free from anxiety, and free from addiction. If only I could swim up faster. I swear if I could, I would reach down to every broken soul and give them a hand up. Witness their first fresh breath of air and let them lead the world to something better. I feel like I'm on the verge of something beautiful. I feel like my breath is floating. Then again, it feels just like that thing called anxiety. I'm not floating at all, it's just my inside shaking, and who am I to break the chains? I'm no different than the rest of them. But what if I don't speak, then who else will? And if I can, then I will, and if I can, then you can too, and you, and you. And together, we can break those chains. Because maybe the only thing that all of us need is to not feel alone. The chains are just strings of lonely. The more strings we collect, the more they weave together, and the more we get stuck. All we need to do is become more like the moon, shine over everyone. And when we become small and disappear, we will just become something new, just like the moon.
This is like super first draft, so yeah. Trigger warning for anyone with like assault or sexual violence. So, for the first time, writing is very hard. Supposedly journaling should help me process. Why is writing on paper so much more raw than typing or texting? Does it make it feel real to write it with a pen? A-S-S-A-L-T. Can't even spell it right because it's so much to put on paper. God, my heart is pounding. I don't think I've ever been so aware of my upper chest as I have been the last 10 days. Tight, like bungee straps pulling from my heart across and off. Anchored somewhere else. Anchored by something someone. It amazes me how much I'm drawn to music. I've never felt so compelled. It's like something primal, instinctual. I wish I could dance. It almost feels like physical expression could get at this so much better. My body feels constantly aware, a thrumming beneath the surface, a buzz in my blood, like a dull, irritating hum, an amp that hasn't fully connected to its instrument. It is so exhausting, not just emotionally, my body is tired. The hormones eat through my blood sugar, my muscles ache from being so tense. Crying gives me headaches. After so long, physically, I can't be tense any longer, and I feel weak, flimsy. I feel like I can't do anything, like the world is stretched out, and 5 feet feels like a mile. My mind gets slow and foggy, dazed. I feel like I'm slipping underwater. I've been bubbling, bobbing at the top. My ears filling up with water. Everything is muffled. It's dark, and I can't find the shallow water. Every time I think I've gotten a foothold, I move forward, and it's gone. I'm back under, trying not to drown. All I hear is this muffled water hum and my own body crying for help. Air, light, energy. Each wave comes from nowhere, a concussion to my senses, shoving me under, turning me around.
Thanks everyone for sticking around. You're wonderful. Let's give our open mic readers and David and Nancy a big round of applause. And will you please help us by putting the